in Accra and you step out right now and check the weather, you can see that it's getting a bit cloudy and it looks like rain. And while we're excited about rain and love rain, we hope that this does not extend to our brothers and sisters in the Volta region, and we all know why. Welcome back to the show, AM Club on MS24 TV. We are live. My name is Godwin Nambo. And for Lifestyle Daily, before I introduce my guest, I have something very interesting for you. There's nothing more pleasing than Top Choco chocolate spread on bread. It has the power to awaken your taste buds and make you happy instantly. The Top Choco 3-in-1 instant mixed chocolate drink is suitable for preparing both cold chocolate milkshakes and cups of delicious hot chocolate. Just add hot water. And introducing the latest addition to the Top Choco family is the Top Choco Choco Cap with which is suitable for everyone and will surely be a crowd pleaser. Children can take it to school and imagine serving these caps at birthday parties, picnics, or any other gathering. This chocolatey treat will definitely make their day. Get your hands on the Top Choco Choco Cap today and experience the joy of chocolate spread in a cap. Remember, Top Choco is made with love in Ghana using only the finest ingredients. Top Choco, it's chocolatey, and you have two chocolatey men in the studio. I've been joined by my good friend Benin Baffour Clinton, BBC. He's a social activist. We're discussing issues of national interest, and of course, we all know what's going on. The matter at hand, the Volta Dam spillage, which has affected over 26,000 people. Ghana Armed Forces has said that they've been able to help rescue about 12,000 people, and relief items are being sent in, day out by individuals and institutions, and we are happy to see it. Senior, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I like how you're clad in all white and I'm clad in all black.
Yeah, because I feel like an escort.
Did you?
I feel like, the images from their graduation just drives your edge that you should go
study. It's true.
Yeah, so I'm a walking escort, at least an imaginary one.
It's good to have you. You don't strike me as somebody who likes sports. Before we get into the matter, do you like sports?
Oh yes, I don't follow it much. I don't do betting and those basic things. But I used to be a sports prefect in JHS and primary.
Did you play any sports?
Football.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm a top striker.
Ish. Senior, which team do you support?
I used to support Man U, but now I'm for Madrid. Even though my colleagues don't want me to join because they feel I'm not loyal to United. They keep on disappointing me.
10 at this point. My brain.
Exactly.
Anyways, but did you see what happened at the Nations FC with the Kotoko game?
I was just condemning the act. Football is a game of chances. You either win or you lose. Yeah. And so you must prepare for the loss, even though you anticipate highly for the wins. And if you lose, you accept it. If you win, you jubilate over it. You don't necessarily need to throw tantrums or even attack your opponents when you lose a match. It affects the beauty of the game and then drives people's interest. Are we making the stadium not secured for people to, because it's an open space that everybody walks in there for the fun of the game. And so if I come in there and then I'll be attacked, why would I go there? And then it dents the imagery of our football league, which is not best. And I think the act must be largely condemned, especially for a team like Kotoko, which is one of the biggest teams in Africa. For you to throw out such a signal, it's not good for the team itself, it's not good for the country, and then it's not a good publication for the league as well.
Unfortunately, sports is not what we're talking about this morning. We're talking about something more sensitive and pressing.
Yeah.
Yet to hear your take on what's going on in the Volta region. I haven't had a conversation with you yet.
Yes. I think it's an issue that saddens the heart of everybody who has gotten the opportunity to see or witness what is going on in the communities in the Volta region. It looks like it was expected by the VRA because the deputy chief in charge of operations rightly said that in May 2023, that's this year, in May they had a stimulation with the Interior Ministry, Energy, to assess the impact of such an act. This is a man-made disaster, and then it was an inevitable one because we were torn in between two options: either to leave the dam to overflow and get burst, which would have been catastrophic to the nation itself, compared to sacrificing a portion of the Volta regional communities to suffer the penalty for it. It's unfortunate it has to be them, but I feel that was the best option they could adapt. But our conversation must be centered on measures being put in place for them, and then measures being put in place for them afterwards, and that is in present and then afterwards. That's post and then pre of this particular flooding incident. Statistically, I was trying to understand why the VRA had to spill the dam, which it's a deliberate thing to do because they felt the dam was being overflooded, and then if they don't reduce the water in the dam, it's going to affect the supply of electricity. They gave some figures to that effect, stating that the operational stance of the dam is supposed to be somewhere 277.5 feet, that is 84.6 meters. And as at the time when they were spilling it, it was somewhere a bit beneath this particular figure, which means it was an immediate act that had to be undertaken to save the dam, even though it went ahead to flood the homes of these individuals. I'm very much interested in measures that are being put in place by the government and individuals to support these people, because we have schools there, we have people who work, we have people who live there, people who depend on the land for their daily meal. And so with this incident, it's going to wipe off a lot of things, from farmers to businessmen to schools to churches.
It's not going to wipe. It's already done that. It's already done that. Sorry to cut in. Look, I
made mention of that because I think the water is now spreading to other communities,
yeah.
And so for the ones that have been wiped out, we need to look at it, and where the direction of the water is heading, we must also be interested in how to at least reduce the adverse impact of that particular act.
Say prevention is always better than cure,
yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it? And from what you're saying, you're talking about curative measures and what's happening now. But Clinton, it's not the first time we are spilling water from the Akosombo dam.
Yes.
It's not. 1966, 1967, several years we've been spilling water from the Akosombo dam. We understand, and like you said, the VRA expected this. Somewhere in May, you said they had simulation.
Yes.
And then even in September 15, they started talking about how they will be spilling the water. But this is the first time we've had it on such a level. And 26,000 people, Clinton, that's a lot. We can't say that this was not expected, this was not measured. I mean, if you know 26,000 people were going to be displaced, you would work ahead of time. If you had your simulation in May, and even more than a month ago, you were talking about starting the spillage and all that, something would have been done to prevent this. We don't let it happen and say that we are concerned. We are more concerned about what the government is doing. Let's talk about why we should prevent something like this and not let it happen in the future. Don't you think that this was very preventive?
Yes, it was. And then it looks like per the release or the update from the agency, the Volta River Authority, they said that preventive measures were what prevented the casualties in human form. Ordinarily, this incident could have taken lives of people, but then as we speak, we've not recorded anyone who have lost their life because of this. They said education and then some initiatives like Daonhoso were taken up ahead of this particular incident, and so residents were moved ahead, and then others were also informed of the inevitable acts that would confront them when they spill the dam. And I think that's how best they could put it. But moving forward, we must be looking at ways to prevent the spillage from taking over the communities.
Why are we looking at those ways now? That's what I don't get, Clinton. This has been in existence forever. Is this the time to look at ways to prevent the flood from the waters from being spilled to this levels?
No, not necessarily. But as we speak, the conditions of the residents are the topmost priority of the discussion.
We understand. That's update.
And so I'm so sure that with institutions like NADMO and then the Ministry of Energy and then I think the VRA itself, the aftermath, that's why I made mention of the post. Because after we've been able to come out of this particular menace, what are the measures we are putting in place to prevent it from happening? And these are questions we are expecting to be answered at the post-report of the incident.
And Clinton, as young people, that's what I'm asking. Why are we going to do that now? When in May we suspected this to happen, why are we now going to look for preventive ways and say maybe next year this and this is what we're going to do?
I'm tempted to believe that the authority is telling us that they had nothing to do in preventing it. Because if, just as you said, if a stimulation exercise was organized in May and you could predict what could happen, but nothing was done to prevent it, the only thing that we could boast of is how we saved the lives of people ahead of time, then if this should continue in some years ahead, nobody would want to live within that particular area. And so it's a good point to note that we must be looking at. But on the other hand, I think one of the major contributions to these particular crisis issues is climate change. Whenever it comes up, we need to also be looking at that, the change in our temperature, our weather, as a result of how we are getting used to fossil fuels and what have you. I think climate change conversation has been top-notch in the globe. And so we must also be enlightening and educating our system itself on how we can adjust ourselves to the new normal instead of sticking to what is causing an unstabilized climate for the country as a whole.
I think that's a larger conversation.
Yes, that is. I think that is, on the other hand, something we should be looking at. The post-report from these agencies is what I can base on to engage further on measures they are going to put in place to prevent it from happening again. Because as we speak, honestly,
I understand the post reports. We will always have post reports. It's happening, so we'll have post reports. What I want to ask you is, don't you think that there was mismanagement on the part of VRA? And what do you make of calls by different people for the VRA boss and his executives to resign? Because this is certainly a leadership flaw, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but I don't think it's a mismanagement. I think it's an incident that was unforeseen as much as it was predicted. It's unforeseen such that the impact to this particular level...
They knew the amount of water that will flood the place. You can't say it was unforeseen. And Clinton, let's look at this again. 26,000 people. Every year, I mean, I think since 19... When was the last time they spilled it? It's been a while. It's been a while, yeah. So now that, you've had your whatever, if they had the meeting in May, then they knew the amount of water that was going to be released. They knew.
I think they knew, but they couldn't decipher the impact of it when it happens. That is the extent to which it has gotten.
Do you think enough education was done about this? Did you hear about it? Did we hear about this before it happened?
I didn't until this incident.
Many people did not hear about it. So how was education low if this was going to be the level of the crisis? Why was it poorly talked about?
Speaking directly to the report and then the address from the deputy in charge of operations, he stated emphatically that they educated the residents within the area.
Why within the area? If my mother lives there, my family lives there, and this is going to happen and I'm not aware of it, and you talk to my mother, let's say, and how long, okay, I don't know the period they spoke to the people, but if I am aware of it, you know what, I can help the situation. If your parents were there, my parents were there, his parents were there, we'll find a way to let them come and live with us for the meantime to prevent all this from happening.
I think people were on the known, just that the challenge here is that provisions were not made for an alternative way of catering for them.
Why not?
So you inform me that you are going to spill the dam and this is the impact of it. And so main dam also, that was the initiative that also, but you don't make available any alternative, because at best if I have one house and you say main dam also, and it means
where am I going?
Exactly, and I think that is the challenge. And so these are questions that we would have to pose to them. I think it's a bit hasty for us to call the resignation of the management. And I think every managerial board faces some challenges, and then when it comes, we expect them to get back to the drawing board and prevent this from happening. It has happened. Let us be interested in how to support the people who have been seen in this particular crisis. I think at best we've seen most of we've seen the government go there, we've seen some ministry go there, we've seen an initiative from the Agric Ministry. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yes.
Yes, and then we've also had philanthropists, individuals who are going there
institutions,
to support.
I've been there. Have you had a chance to go there?
I've not, but then I've been following. I watch on the news when live coverage of what
people
is
who have been there say that it's one thing listening to it in the news, and it's another thing being on the ground.
Yes, this morning I was listening to the radio, and then an eyewitness was saying exactly what you said.
And you should hear the stories coming from the place.
I think it's sad. The government should go in to do much more than it is doing, because I feel as we speak, people's life has been wiped out. Not necessarily their assets, but their entire life. Some things that sustain them have been wiped out. Finances, food, clothing, a lot of things. And so we need to be looking at measures that can be put in place to indemnify these individuals or reinstate them back to normalcy, which is a very important part of the discussion. And so we must be looking at that.
Well, okay. I'm talking to Benin Baffour Clinton, who's a social activist, and we're discussing issues regarding the water dam spillage and how quite a number of people have been displaced. We've seen a few philanthropists, like he mentioned, seen government, we've seen the Agric Ministry, we've seen the Ghana Armed Forces, we've seen celebrities go to the aid of residents in these areas. I come from Sungakopa, so I can relate to what is going on. But we've been joined, of course, by our one and only Father Anthony. He is also a political stroke social activist. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
This morning, you know, we can retire. Studying.
I had to stay up all night yesterday because of some situations on campus.
Indeed.
So that's why.
How are you, though?
I'm fine.
Are you eating?
I'll say, am I eating?
I told you should be eating. You're working too hard. You should eat. Clinton. Enjoy life.
Oh, Clinton has always been a very plump.
He's enjoying life.
Anyway,
I don't think it's about food. He's having so much comfort. I know.
It's a DNA issue. Some of us, no matter what, likely.
Yes, anyways, welcome. I mean, we already know the matter at hand, and it's been discussed extensively. We are just looking at the way forward. But we've had a few people, a few civil society organizations, a few prominent people call for the head of the VRA boss and his executives. Just touch on that briefly, then let's look at the way forward.
Of course, I think that the conduct of the VRA, the Interior Ministry, and all those who are responsible for maintaining, the welfare of people, as far as this exercise is concerned, marks of gross incompetence, the likes of which we should not tolerate as a country. In other jurisdictions, nobody should be calling for their resignations. They should have been gone by themselves already. The lives of over 2,000 people, at last count it was over 2,600 people who have been displaced. And it goes without saying that these communities have sacrificed themselves, their livelihoods, their way of life that they knew for centuries, so that Ghana would have a sustainable supply of electricity. If you know the Tonu areas, you would realize that the people are a fishing community in particular seasons, and then they farm in particular seasons. Because of the situation of the dam over there, most of those activities have been interrupted for decades. They have to adjust to new ways of life for the rest of us in Ghana. And so when you are taking decisions that affect these communities, you must be minded as to how much you exacerbate their situation already. And I mean, generations of people have had their ways of life taken away from them, only for you to further destroy whatever they have built for themselves after that major sacrifice. I think that, it's not a subject of debate if the VRA boss should be gone. It's not a subject of debate if the CEO should be gone. It's not a subject of debate if the Interior Minister should not be answering questions. Because are they trying to tell us, Ghana Meteorological Authority, all these people who have contributions to make as to how things go over there, must answer for why we are in this situation? Are they telling us that when the dam was filling up, they do not know that? VRA has no metric as to the level of the dam at every point in time. VRA has no metric as to the bank of the river. When you release much water, the lake, how much it can hold. They have no metric of getting all those things. If they have no such metrics and they are unable to foresee the level at which the water is going to flood the bank of the river and even go into its floodplains and go into people's houses, if they are unable to do that, then That is incompetence. And incompetence is one of the bases for which people are not supposed to be in office. And so they should be gone. I don't know why we are even debating this.
They said they did a little bit of education.
You said?
They said they did a little bit of education.
Oh, please, spare me. You did a little bit of education. If you are telling me that people who live along a river community, you told them that you are going to release water, the magnitude of which is going to wash their houses away, take them out of their bedrooms, wash their farms away, wash the dead out of the tombs, wash people out of hospitals, dead people in mortuaries are being searched for. You told these people these things, that these are we want the record of it. You told these people these things and they stayed in those houses. Is that what you are telling me? These blatant lies. These are blatant lies. And you see, we have a government who by far is the most irresponsible in the history of this country. I mean, how long had this thing been going on before President Akufo-Addo showed up there? People said he made it in jest, we should cut the president some slack and all that. Fair. Let's cut him some slack. But you make jokes in these situations.
I mean,
let's grant that he was making a joke.
Yeah,
let's grant that he was making a joke. You make jokes in these situations. The president is able to smile and laugh and crack jokes in this situation when 26,000 people don't have homes. I was General Secretary of the National Union of Ghana Students. So in these situations, I'm minded to think about the condition of students in these situations. I mean, young people, toddlers, being carried along rivers. And if you look at the situation, it's a flow of water through toilets, through waste bins, through mortuaries and all that. And they are walking in all that, exposing themselves to sickness. And the president is able to smile and make jokes in this situation. We are being led, as I said some time ago, that by people who are not merely incompetent but wicked. Because if not for wickedness, why are you able to smile in this situation and be making jokes?
I think we've all admitted that it is a very sensitive topic. It's so sensitive, and we all agree to the magnitude of what these people are going, the pain and the torture that these people are going through. But the way forward, I'm wondering, what would have been the best thing for the VRA to do to have prevented this disaster?
Well, first of all, they said that they had to do the spillage to protect the technological setups that they've made over there. That they had to do it to maintain the functioning of the dam. And all those things. And these are things that are very necessary for us to keep going. Granted. But in doing it, you have a setup as an institution. You take measures of what goes on at every point in time. At what point in time did you notice that you have to do that spillage? The water cannot just increase in a day.
True.
So at what point in time, if you are doing the spillage bits by bits, I mean, we may not be here. Granted that even if you did it bit by bit, we may get here. If people understood the magnitude of damage which is coming their way, they would not be there. So claims that they had informed the people is false. So going forward, these people have clearly demonstrated that they don't have what it takes to work over there. They don't have what it takes to actually be responsible for the facility which is in their hands. So they should be gone. I do not think that in Ghana we lack people who could take over. And people must be paying prices when lives are concerned. People must be paying prices when the livelihoods of people are concerned. And so let's start showing by example. If people can displace 26,000 people and still remain at home and now be telling us, that's a lot of people. 26,000 people. You can displace them from their homes, take their livelihood from them, cut education of young people. If you can displace them and still remain at post, that is impunity, the likes of which tells people that you can do whatever you like in this country. And you'll be spared.
What would have been the best option? To educate them ahead of time and tell them to move, or provide alternative shelter for them?
Of course. I mean, it goes without saying that if we say that we have got to the situation where we have no choice but to release the water, before you do that, you must make sure that people are out of the way. Today, the VRA has 20 million Ghana cedis to spare on relief items. They do. The Ghana Armed Forces today has time, human personnel, and logistics to spare to be moving people up and down. Today, NADMO has, the equipment and all that to spare. Today, the President of the Republic had time to go there to make jokes. But at the time when the people needed to know the seriousness and the propensity of damage which was coming their way, none of them showed up to tell them that. None of them put those resources into use to relocate them. So that was the time you were supposed to do that. That was the time to spend the resources. And you see, when these things happen, We only go on to demonstrate the level at which we are unserious in this country. National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, is the body which is charged to ensure, and this is not even a disaster, this is a deliberate distraction of the lives of people, orchestrated by an irresponsible institution, presided over by the most wicked, careless government in the history of this republic. It is not a disaster, it is a deliberate act which was done. Let's admit it. The dam did not spill on its own. It was spilled by people who knew the consequences that were coming. We have this institution which is supposed to be responsible for the maintenance of these facilities, for ensuring that disaster and all those things are managed very well. This institution is not empowered to do that. Anytime these things happen, then the president now come and say, interministerial wine. You've set up interministerial on illegal mining. What did we see about it? You cannot tell us that you are setting up interministerial. Ministers will never go down and rescue anybody.
Anthony,
it is NADMO who trains people, who is in charge of doing that. It is them who deploy people. It is them who are able to instruct people to get their hands dirty to do their jobs. Ministers never get their hands dirty to do anything for anybody. Okay. So that interministerial thing he says he's setting up and all those things. Interior Ministry, you are telling me that Interior Ministry alone does not have what it takes to take over this thing and do what they need to do over there. You are telling me that the Ghana Armed Forces does not have what it takes to do that. You are telling me that NADMO, which is supposed to live all year round performing this duty, does not have the manpower to do that. Interministerial what?
I think okay.
If you put the Minister of Information, for example,
I totally understand your passion and how you feel, especially because I know you have people from these areas. Anthony, yes, drink some water.
The level of irresponsibility we have become used to in this country is so bad.
I think we all agree. I think we're all speaking the same language. Clinton has said the same things himself. What do you make, of course, by the NDC and a few other people to declare this thing a state of emergency? And would a state of emergency change anything? I mean, BBC. What will it change if we have the means?
Our understanding of state of emergency is imperative for this particular discussion, because state of emergency comes in when the government machinery has lost total control of managing the issue. But as we speak, I'm in doubt that the systems or the stakeholders that have been invited have lost control. As we can see progress on daily basis in trying to relocate them, and then I'm optimistic that given the timelines that have been assigned to them, they should be able to relocate all those who have been displaced to safe places and find ways to clear their homes. I'm actually much interested in the post aspect from my conversation, because we are looking at how you can indemnify these individuals back to normalcy in terms of their lives when all matters have gone down. And that is one of the key things we need to be looking at, particularly from the Education Ministry, particularly from the Agri Ministry. I made mention of the restructuring component of the expenditure session of Agri Ministry, about 40 million that has been allocated or designated to reinstate the farmers fully back on track when things have tamed down and the farms are available for farming or whatsoever, and also to support their livelihoods. I think these should not come from only the Agri Ministry, the Energy Ministry, and then VRA itself. I'm also happy that we've seen the VRA deploy all their emergency units, and then they've also upgraded their support schemes to go in there to support them. This particular moment is not one that is meant for political gimmicks or whatsoever. That's why I wouldn't want to highlight on some of the things my brother said. If I'm being sensitive as he claims, I think we must be looking at how best we can safeguard the lives of these individuals. And afterwards, of course, for most of the points that he has made, it is valid. And then as a nation, we must be looking at how to resolve the issue, since this is not the first of its kind. The impact keeps on changing. It should tell you that climate change has a ripple effect, as I made mention of it, because the spillage in years before wasn't this magnitude of this magnitude. And so it tells you that if we allow this to keep on, it's going to affect maybe the next time we might not be happy what we would also hear. And the VRA team must also be cautioned on measures that they would have to put in place to make sure that the people who are living in that particular area, lives are protected. I don't think this is a matter of politics, because VRA has been in existence so far as we're enjoying this whole electricity. We must be interested in what offers we give to these individuals who sacrifice their lives for the benefits of the nation as a whole. And it goes on to even the mining, as my brother touched on, that we have, if you go to Obuasi, I've lived in Obuasi, AG, and then you could clearly see the systems and the infrastructural developments that were put in place for the people in Obuasi, estates and then hospitals, schools that were far away from the mining areas to protect the lives. So sometimes you could hear the blast at your home, but then it is safe for you because they have moved all these individuals away from the area where the mining is ongoing. And some of these things must be put in place, because if people are sacrificing their livelihood to move from farming at a moment to fishing, to move from fishing to another, then it means we should be looking at how to safeguard their lives. And so let's borrowing or paraphrasing the exact words of my brother, let's be idealistic in our submission, let's be patriotic in how we share our experiences on it, and let's also be conscience driven in some of the statements that we pass. You ask that they call for state of emergency when clearly we've not had issues of challenges in managing the issue at hand. I think we are already in a state of emergency without even stating it, given the indications that have been put in place. And so let us keep the focus and not be so political about this issue. These are matters of people who are either NDC or MPP. And then I would also want to touch a bit on the comment. I'm very much interested in the context in which the president spoke. Sometimes it saddens my heart if I have my colleagues sit on TV and speak ill of the president of the Republic of Ghana. I personally do not agree with him on some of the things that he states. Yesterday, I watched the video of the president's address on countless occasions. And in moments when people are distressed, if you are a communication expert, you would get to know that it is very important that certain comments are passed to tame down the tension and rising conditions of people. Don't I gave you Julius? I don't think this is the best. I want him to land, but Clinton. If you look at, let me land. If you look at the context in which the comment was passed, it was to educate and then enlighten the people over there to understand that it is not about whether you voted for the government or not. It is his responsibility as a president to come through and support when these issues come up. It is his fault if it happens, and it is his responsibility to fix it. And so let us not always have interest of partisan affiliation when such crisis issues come in. We have our individual
joke. But again, that's not a joke you make.
No, listen to me.
That's not a joke as a communicator. You pass in such a time.
No, listen to me. I said that it becomes a bit. I call it. I study something called agenda setting theory. Yes. You'd notice that the context in which he said it had been taken up on a major scale by
who? The media.
By the media and who has an interest. Who have an interest in it. You know that the queen mother of the locality came out and then said that the president made a lot of points that were valid and then acceptable to them, beneficial and instrumental to their condition. But why is it that people are very much interested in a lighter note comment that the president passed, which enlightens people on the concept of governance and leadership? You understand?
You know what?
That is an intention. That is pardon?
A little folly is not even fit for a king. You can say all those good things, but one thing you say can destroy everything you say.
It doesn't destroy. I think that is why I keep on saying that the moment you politicize some of these issues, no, it wasn't a political statement.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
If it was about votes, I shouldn't be here because people don't vote for me.
I mean,
it is not political. It is not political.
Is that a lie?
Is that a lie?
I'm asking you.
So the entire voter region votes for the NDC. The entire voter region.
He's speaking
Clinton,
to
let's talk about this.
He's speaking to records that validated his presidency.
There are not constituencies in the voter region that the president wins hands down.
Listen to me. The statement,
hands down.
The statement 2016
elections.
That you can make reference to any constituency.
He doesn't win at all in those places.
The point I'm making.
Even if one person votes for you from that place, you can't say that they don't vote for you.
He made specific statement, and then he said that the locality he found himself and the areas that have been affected by the crisis. So if it's a matter of if it is a matter of who voted for the party and who didn't vote for
that
the party,
area.
Yes, who vote? Yes,
not the entire Volta region.
Yes,
but
the people
area.
who have suffered the spillage. If it had to do with whether you voted for me or didn't vote for me, I shouldn't have been here. But it is not in that line. It is in the interest of the people I'm serving. He made mention of protecting the welfare of people. You don't understand. What I'm saying is
the president should be everywhere. It doesn't matter. Don't tell me this because I'm not expecting to.
Yes, so he's trying to. He's communicating something to them that the government doesn't serve only the people who voted for him. It serves every Ghanaian. So when you're on the seat of power, you must be interested in even the people who didn't vote.
Something must have.
No, it's something that is public knowledge. It's something that is. That's
what I'm saying. That's why it's a joke in bad taste. If something sparked that during his speech, if somebody had commented something and then he comes to say that, it's understandable. But when you're delivering your speech, nobody has evoked it. Nobody has incited it.
It's something in public knowledge, and so I don't think we should set that. That particular.
I totally disagree with you.
No, I don't think it's normal for you to, but I don't think we should set the agenda, prioritizing that particular comment out of the statements that he made. And so let's not. He might want to. You're making mention. He might just to. So let us not waste time arguing on that particular. I'm not coming. So let's just be. Let's be.
He's not my host. So he does not tell me what to say.
Let's be nationalistic. Let's be nationalistic in our opinion.
You want to host me?
Julius, what you are doing? I gave you room to speak.
You spoke. It was when you started talking about what I can talk about and what I can't talk about.
And so when you have the room, you talk about what is the point? You must put it to order. The point is that you made mention of some things I felt I have to correct you. And so you're not in the best position to tell me that not to tell me what to say. When I do tell me what to say, I can tell you not to interrupt me because I gave you the right.
Have I interrupted?
But you are doing it right now.
If I can say,
you are just doing it right now. What is my friend? You should let me land. The point I'm making, let us be very objective and nationalistic in our opinion on this particular issue. It's a national crisis issue, and let us address it holistically and not as an MPP or an NDC angle of argument. So I'll give him the room to.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Please, let's get serious.
2 minutes, okay.
There is no NDC or MPP angle of communication, and you are telling me that communication expertise, your communication expertise, is to tell me that the president should go to people in the midst of a crisis, people who are at risk of health crisis, people who are losing their health.
Let us play the video. It's not about my time. Control your video. You control your so play the video.
My friend,
let us know
irresponsibly.
No, let us hear the
That's not fair.
It's not that I want to anytime it is about individual opinions. It's about counting. Let's play the video to understand the context in which you speak. You did. You shouldn't take responsibility. No, what is the responsibility? What is the responsibility? What is the defense of the president? I'm defending the I'm saying that I would have been listen,
when he spoke,
that is your job.
On this issue, I would plead that on this issue, the video for people to watch. Everybody has the video. Everybody has the video, and they should know what you're saying. You don't speak something that's outside of context.
Don't complain.
I'll give you room. If he speaks to me irresponsibly, what is irresponsibly? You think you're not speaking irresponsibly? You think it is best? You think it is best that you
television on public view tell the people that if it's about counting votes, he should not be here.
If it's about who voted for me and who voted against me, I shouldn't be here.
Is the poorest, the likes of which should not.
That is what you are best going to understand. But what I'm saying is that the context in which the statement was made, it's not outside the box.
People have lost their livelihoods. People have lost education. Toddlers are walking in waters which are mixed with dead bodies.
And no measures have been put in place. What I'm saying
have been
is doing a lot. He knows that. Why aren't you speaking about the measures that have been put in place to rescue them?
The President of the Republic
have you made mention of what NADMO is doing, and what VRA is doing, and what the Ministry is doing, what the Agric Ministry is also doing?
I know those communities. Those communities are places that are very familiar to me. And these are people that we live with on a daily basis. We see their lives. We see how they struggle. Anytime the water lake goes up, they are unable to fish. They risk their lives. They die in that water because the only means of living they know has been taken away from them. And then you sit here, have no idea what
I have admitted that. The point I am making, don't put me. Don't put me. It has never been the greatest failure. No way are speaking for. Let us not lose on what we are discussing. Let us not lose that. That is for him. He can say it. I don't know what, but let us not lose that of the subject matter of this particular discussion. The point I'm making here is that the context in which the president is not out of place. It's not out of place.
We could have a decent conversation. I had no idea this was what was going to be. But guys, Clinton, can I wrap my segment, please? Can I wrap my segment? No, Clinton, you showed me something today. When you come again, I know what to do. It's okay. When Anthony, you haven't been fair. You have not been fair to Anthony. You have not been fair. You have not been fair to Anthony. But hey, our time is up. Our time is up. Next is Motivation Monday. Stay with us.
Telling people in the midst of chaos that this is about.
I speak for it. In tapping into these sources.
Skincare and cosmetics. So cool. What did they talk to you? Number one, it will be I will show you. That's all Hunamno and Kasama. Hunamno, so by Ajiaboso. Pimples, dark spots, and not hyperpigmentations. Next to your best of massive force in your room. So Beno, and who and drone machines. Abba, I want my most skincare and cosmetics clinic. I had your bar, your BBI, your vacuum sachet machine, your microdermabrasion machine, your high frequency machine, and the avion out of meeting Bonnie in Aquaha, or the bra, Mama skincare and cosmetics clinic. I am wow, bra, now take Nina and Philly, come on, and Fama, come on, Moshayang, and what Accra, East Legon, number 3 Boundary Road, and now such a shape, Yosua. Wager before the West Coast Mall on the Malam Kaswa Highway, SCC Junction. Mom, let your skin do the talking.
Hey, give it to me. Stop. Enough you guys, so continue.
Prepare yourself to unleash even more moolah by staking from 1 Ghana cedi to 350 Ghana cedis, and you could win 26 times your stake on the exciting new Pick 1 game from Game Pack. Play by dialing *946# on all networks via our website or download the Game Pack app on www.gamepackgames.com. Choose your Pick 1 number from 1 to 36. Place your stake and watch our live draws on Adum TV at 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily.
Hey, live life like me with Game Pack. Game Pack, more moolah, more power.
This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly.
Hi, my name is Nanama Ejewa, CEO of Dwayne Co. Company Limited. Under the umbrella of Dwayne Co. is one of its flagship products, AquaGold Purified Drinking Water. AquaGold Purified Drinking Water has been certified by the Food and Drugs Authority and is created through microfiltration. It has gone through reverse osmosis and it is sterilized by UV treatment. They are making natural say through science, technology, we are located at Tema Community 12. Contact us on 0266 267005 or 020